Have you ever looked into someone's eyes and seen forever? That's how it felt with him, Jake. We met in the rain, under a street lamp that flickered like it knew our story was about to ignite. I was 25, fresh out of a dead-end job, chasing dreams in a city that chewed people up and spat them out. He was 28 with that easy smile and a laugh that wrapped around you like a warm blanket on a cold night. "Hey, you look like you could use a coffee," he said, holding out a steaming cup like it was a lifeline. And just like that, we were talking for hours about everything and nothing. Little did I know, that cup of coffee was the first drop in an ocean of lies. Our first date was magic. We walked through the park as the leaves turned gold, sharing secrets I'd never told anyone. He confessed his fear of being alone, how his last relationship left him shattered. I opened up about my family, how my dad walked out when I was 10, leaving a hole that no amount of success could fill. "You're safe with me, Sarah," he whispered, pulling me close. Safe. That word echoed in my heart like a promise carved in stone. We built our world fast. Late-night drives, stolen kisses in coffee shops, plans for a future that felt unbreakable. By month 3, I was in love. Deep, terrifying love. The kind that makes you believe in soulmates. But even then, there were whispers, small things. A text he'd brush off as work. A late night out with the guys that stretched into dawn. I'd push the doubts away, tell myself it was my past talking, the abandonment issues that made me cling too tight. Jake was different. He had to be. We moved in together 6 months into a tiny apartment with creaky floors and a view of the skyline that made every struggle feel worth it. I quit my job to start my own graphic design business, pouring my savings into it because he said, "You've got talent, babe. I'll support you." His words were my fuel. I worked nights, sketching logos until my eyes burned, while he climbed the ladder at his marketing firm. Looking back, the signs were there, like cracks in a foundation you ignore because the house feels like home. He'd cancel plans last minute, phone buzzing with notifications he never explained. Once, I found a lipstick stain on his shirt collar, red, not my shade. "Client dinner," he said with that disarming grin. I believed him. God, how I believed him. But trust is a fragile thing, and Jake? He was about to shatter it into a million pieces. Not once, but twice. And the second time, well, that's when I learned that revenge isn't about getting even. It's about rising from the ashes he left you in. As the months rolled on, our life settled into a rhythm. Mornings with coffee and crosswords, evenings tangled in sheets, whispering about kids someday, a house with a yard. I was building my client list, landing my first big gig, a logo for a startup that paid enough to cover rent for 2 months. Jake threw a surprise party, balloons and cake, his eyes shining with pride. "To my rock," he toasted, kissing my knuckles. I felt invincible. But invincibility is just an illusion, and illusions break hardest when you least expect it. One evening, I came home early from a client meeting, arms full of takeout, his favorite Thai. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. His car was in the lot, but no lights on. I called his name, soft at first, then louder. Nothing. Pushing open the bedroom door, my heart stopped. There he was, on our bed, with her. Not a stranger. A coworker I'd met at his office party. Her laugh, that fake tinkling sound, still echoed in my ears from small talk over hors d'oeuvres. They scrambled, sheets flying, excuses tumbling out like confetti from a broken piñata. "Sarah, it's not," Jake started, but I was already out the door, the food spilling on the floor like my dreams. I drove aimlessly that night, tears blurring the city lights into streaks of neon pain. Betrayal isn't just a word, it's a gut punch that leaves you gasping. How could he? After everything, the promises, the laughter, the way he'd hold me when nightmares came? I crashed at a friend's, sobbing until my throat ached. The next day, he showed up with flowers, apologies scripted like a bad movie. It was a mistake. One time, "I love you." And like a fool, I let him back in. Forgiveness felt like strength then. We went to counseling, rebuilt the walls brick by brick. For a year it worked, or so I thought. But doubts lingered, shadows in the corners of our happiness. I'd catch him staring at his phone, thumb hovering over delete. "Just emails," he'd say. I nodded, swallowed the lump in my throat. We got engaged on our second anniversary, under that same street lamp where we met. The ring sparkled like hope renewed. Wedding plans consumed us. Venue hunting, dress fittings, dreams of forever part 2. I was all in, heart wide open, scars healing into faint lines. Jake was my anchor, or so I believed. Life after the affair was like walking on eggshells painted over with gold leaf. Pretty on the surface, but one wrong step and it all crumbles. Jake threw himself into fixing us. Date nights, love notes in my lunch, even a weekend getaway to the coast where we renewed our vows in whispers against crashing waves. I wanted to believe it was real. Needed to. My business was booming now, clients lining up, my name whispered in design circles. Success tasted sweet, especially shared with him. We'd celebrate with wine and dancing in the kitchen, his hands on my waist like the first time. Yet, the whispers grew louder. Friends tiptoed around mentions of his late meetings. My best friend Lisa pulled me aside one lunch. "Sarah, are you sure? I saw him with that woman at the bar last week." My stomach twisted, but I laughed it off. "Old news. We're solid." Denial is a warm coat on a freezing day. You wear it until you can't feel your fingers anymore. Jake and I talked about babies, picking names like Emma or Liam, imagining tiny feet pattering on our future hardwood floors. It was the glue holding the cracks together. Then came the promotion. His firm offered him a corner office in Chicago, a city 4 hours away, but temporary. "Pie. Nis marxti," he said. 6 months tops. Then we moved together. Excitement bubbled in me. This was our ticket to bigger things. I helped pack his bags, ironed his suits, kissed him goodbye at the airport with tears I blamed on pride. "Call me every night," I whispered. He did at first, voice husky with missing me, stories of the windy city that made me laugh. My days filled the void. Design deadlines, yoga classes, coffee with Lisa, where I'd gush about us. But calls grew sporadic. Texts turned curt. "Busy day, love you." I'd stare at the screen, heart heavy, convincing myself it was stress. One night, scrolling mindlessly, I saw it. A tagged photo on social media. Jake, arm around her, the same coworker, at a rooftop party. Caption: "Team wins at Chicago nights." My world tilted. Fingers shaking, I messaged a mutual friend for context. "It's nothing," came the reply. "Just work." But the photo screamed otherwise. Her hand on his chest, his smile too intimate. I confronted him over video call, screen glitching like my trust. "What's going on, Jake? Really?" His face crumpled, pixels of guilt. "Sarah, baby, it's a misunderstanding. She's just a friend now." Lies dripped like honey over razor blades, sweet, but they cut deep. We argued, voices rising in digital static, until he sighed. "I need space. This long distance, it's hard." Space? After everything? The word hung between us, a guillotine blade mid-fall. I hung up, curled on the couch, sobs racking my body. Betrayal round 2, sharper because I saw it coming and still let it slice. Days blurred into weeks. He stopped calling altogether. My apartment echoed with emptiness, his side of the closet a ghost. I threw myself into work, designs pouring out like therapy on paper, bold colors masking inner gray. Lisa dragged me out, forcing drinks and dances, but laughter felt foreign on my tongue. "You're better without him," she'd say. I nodded, but inside, anger simmered. Not just at him, but at me. For forgiving once, for building on sand. Then the email came, from Jake's work address, but forwarded from her. Yes, her. "Sarah, we need to talk. It's over. I'm with her now, for real." Attached. Photos. Not just one party shot, but months of them. Dinners, trips, her head on his shoulder in a hotel bed, the knife twisted, carving out pieces of my soul. Over? He was engaged to me! Rings exchanged, vows whispered, rage boiled, hot and unfamiliar. I slammed my laptop shut, pacing the room like a caged animal. How dare he? Again? The man who'd promised safety, who'd held my broken pieces, now scattering them to the wind. That night, I didn't cry. I planned. Revenge isn't born in tears. It's forged in the fire of fury turned cold. I thought of exposing him, blasting it online, telling his family, his boss. But no, that was too quick, too messy. He needed to feel the slow burn, the unraveling of his perfect new life. My business thrived on connections, his on reputation. What if I used mine to eclipse his? A seed planted, roots digging deep. But first, I had to face the pain head-on, gather the shards, and rebuild stronger. Little did Jake know, his betrayal was the spark that would light my inferno. As dawn broke, painting the walls pink, I stood in front of the mirror, eyes red-rimmed but fierce. "This ends now," I whispered to my reflection. Not with his win, but with my rise. The war had begun, not with screams, but with strategy. And oh, how sweet strategy would taste. Waking up to betrayal feels like drowning in slow motion. Every breath a struggle, every thought a wave crashing over you. That email burned in my mind, replaying like a nightmare on loop. Jake with her, building a life on the ruins of ours. I deleted it, but the images lingered, ghosts haunting my sketches. Work became my armor. I'd lose hours in front of my screen, creating logos that screamed confidence while I whispered doubts to myself. Why me? Why again? The questions looped, unanswered, fueling a storm inside that threatened to consume everything. I leaned on Lisa more than ever. Over wine-soaked nights, I'd spill it all. The photos, the space lie, the way his voice cracked on that last call, like he knew he was losing me. "He's a coward," she spat, clinking her glass to mine. "You deserve a man who fights for you." Her words were balm, but the wound festered. Sleepless nights turned into dawn patrols, walking the streets where we'd strolled hand in hand. Memories mocking me from every corner. The park bench where he proposed? Now a reminder of fool's gold. The coffee shop? Her laughter echoed in my ears, uninvited. Then came the calls, from his mom, sweet as pie, asking about wedding dates. "Everything okay, dear? Jake's been so distant." I choked back bile, forcing cheer. "Just busy, you know how it is." Lies to protect her heart or mine? Hanging up, I'd punch the pillow, anger surging like a tidal wave. Not just at him, but at the world for letting men like Jake thrive. Charming, then discarding, like yesterday's news. My dad had done the same, vanishing without a trace. History repeating, a cruel echo. One afternoon, buried in emails, a client pinged. A big one, from Jake's firm. "We love your portfolio, Sarah. Can you meet in Chicago next week?" Irony slapped me hard. His world, inviting me in. My pulse raced. Opportunity or trap? I accepted, fingers flying. This wasn't coincidence. It was fate's twisted gift. Packing my bag, I stared at the ring on my finger, cold metal mocking. Off it came, tucked in a drawer like a bad memory. Chicago awaited, not as a broken fiancé, but as a force. The flight was turbulence in more ways than one. Clouds mirrored my mood, dark, roiling. Landing, the city buzzed with energy I envied. Hotel check-in, then straight to recon. I wandered his neighborhood, heart pounding at every corner cafe, half expecting to see them. And there, in a bistro window, I did. Jake and her, let's call her Tara, laughing over brunch, her hand on his like ownership. I froze, breath shallow. A deer in betrayal's headlights. He looked happy, content, as if our years were a footnote. Ducking into shadows, I watched. Their easy banter, her flipping hair, his nods like punctuation to her stories. Jealousy clawed, but underneath, clarity bloomed. This wasn't love, it was convenience. Tara, ambitious, climbing his ladder. Jake, safe in her adoration. I slipped away before they spotted me, back to my room, notebook in hand. Time to map the battlefield, strengths, my talent, my network. His. Charm, but cracks showing. Rumors I'd heard of office drama, clients jumping ship. That night, over room service, I brainstormed. Expose the affair to his boss? Too direct, risked backlash? Sabotage his promotion? Petty and illegal. No, smarter. Outshine him. Land that client. Expand my reach into his circle. Let success be my weapon. Slow, undeniable. By morning, resolve hardened like steel. The meeting went flawless. The execs raved, signing on the spot. "You're a natural, Sarah," one said. Natural, that's when I was unleashed. But the storm peaked that evening. A text from Jake. "Heard you're in town? Coffee?" My thumb hovered, temptation warring with wrath. Meet him? Pour out the hurt? Or ghost, like he did my heart? I typed back. Busy building something better. Goodbye, Jake. Send. The finality hit like thunder, shaking loose the last chains. No more waiting for apologies that wouldn't come. The storm within, it was breaking, clearing skies for what came next. The calm before my counterstrike. As I stepped into the Chicago night, wind whipping my hair, I felt it. Power. Not vengeful yet, but potent. Jake had betrayed me twice, but this city, this moment, was my turning point. The plan was forming, threads weaving into a tapestry of triumph, and he had no idea the weaver was me. Digging into Jake's new life felt like peeling an onion. Layers of deception, each one stinging more than the last. Back home, I started small. Social media deep dives, mutual friends, subtle probes. Tara's profile was a shrine to us. Candid shots of trips I funded with my savings, captions dripping with #blessed. Jake's feed? Curated perfection, no trace of me. Erased. The audacity fueled me. I'd screenshot everything, building a digital dossier not for revenge yet, but for truth. My business exploded post-Chicago. Referrals flooded in, my calendar a fortress of deadlines. Success whispered, "See? You don't need him." But nights brought the ache, empty bed, silent phone. I'd replay our good times, wondering where the man I loved went. Was it always a mask? Counseling sessions solo now, the therapist nodding as I unpacked the rage. Betrayal twice over isn't coincidence. It's pattern, she said. Pattern? Yes, charm, knasum, discard. My dad, now Jake. Time to break the cycle, not just for me, but for whoever came after. A breakthrough came via an old colleague of his, over drinks, casual chat turning confessional. Jake's struggling at the firm, she leaned in. Tara's pushing him, but clients sensed the tension, and rumors about his ethics. Ethics. The word hung heavy. Turns out he'd fudged reports to land that promotion, small lies snowballing into risks. My ears perked. This was leverage, pure. Not to destroy, but to expose. I thanked her, heart racing, wheels turning. The plan crystallized over a solo dinner, fork tapping plate like Morse code. Step 1. Anonymous tip to his boss. Facts only, no venom. Step 2. Expand my network into his, poaching clients with superior work. Step 3. The personal gut punch. A letter, not rage-filled but raw, forcing him to face the wreckage. Revenge as mirror, reflecting his sins back at him. Executing step 1 was nerve-wracking. Late night, VPN on, email drafted. Concerned employee discrepancies in Q3 reports. See attached. Screenshots from public filings, nothing traceable. Send. Sleep evaded me, adrenaline buzzing. By morning, no fallout, yet. But at work, a ping. Another big client, from his competitor. Coincidence? My charm offensive was working. Tara entered the fray unexpectedly. A LinkedIn message. Heard you're thriving. Congrats! Jake mentions you fondly. Fondly? The gall. I replied cool. Thanks. Moving forward. But inside, fury flared. Fondly. Like I was an ex-roommate, not the woman he gutted. It pushed me to step 2, cold calls to his clients, portfolios gleaming. Fresh perspectives, I'd say, voice steady. One bit, a boutique agency tired of his delays. Signed, The Rush, better than any kiss. As lies unraveled, so did I. In the best way. Yoga turned to runs, pounding pavement like pounding doubts. Lisa and I plodded over brunches, her cheers my chorus. He's squirming, I can feel it. And he was. Texts trickling. Miss you? Can we talk? Ignored. Silence as sword, sharper than words. The climax of this phase hit at an industry mixer. There they were, arm in arm, schmoozing. I approached, dress hugging curves he'd once traced, smile weaponized. Jake, Tara, small world. His face paled, her grip tightened. Small talk flowed. My wins, their stumbles veiled in laughs. Heard about the report hiccup? I slipped in, casual. His eyes widened. The tip landed. Tara shot daggers, but I breezed on, collecting cards like scalps. Leaving, air electric, I knew. The unveiling was just beginning. Lies exposed not with shouts, but sunlight, slow, searing. Jake's empire teetered, and my star rose. But the deepest cut awaited. The letter, words like arrows aimed at his heart. Would I send it? The storm of emotion raged, but resolve held. This was no longer about pain. It was about power reclaimed. With the dossier thick as my unresolved anger, it was time to sharpen the blade. Not for slashing, but for precision cuts that would leave scars only he could see. My apartment transformed into war room. Whiteboards scrawled with timelines, coffee mugs ringed like battle maps. Success buffered the hurt. New hires for my firm, a office space downtown gleaming with possibility. Sarah Voss Designs. The sign outside felt like armor donned. Jake's world cracked audibly now. News trickled. Reprimand at work, clients defecting. A friend forwarded an email chain, his frantic damage control, blaming miscommunications. Tara's posts, less glossy, more strained smiles. Schadenfreude whispered sweet nothings, but I pushed it down. This wasn't joy in suffering, it was justice in balance. The letter brewed in my mind, words marinating like fine wine. Bitter, potent. Drafting it took days, not a rant, but a reckoning. Jake, you broke me twice, but I'm the one who'll mend. Remember the promises. They're echoes now, haunting your choices. Details poured. The affair's timeline, synced to our milestones. Our engagement ring paid for your getaway with her. Truth as dagger, twisting gentle. I sealed it, address handwritten, postmark anonymous. Mailing it felt like releasing a dove or a bomb. Either way, fallout imminent. Meanwhile, the poach accelerated. I'd host webinars, innovative branding in betrayal's wake. Subtle nod, drawing his circle like moths. Enrollments swelled, faces familiar from his holiday cards. One dinner, sealing a deal with his former mentor. Jake spoke highly of you, the man said. I smiled. He taught me resilience. The mentor nodded, signing papers that chipped his foundation further. Personal barbs came too. His mom called, voice trembling. What happened, Sarah? He's a mess. Drinking, fighting with Tara. Guilt flickered, but I steeled. He chose, Mrs. Ellis. I had to. Hanging up, tears came. Not for him, but the woman I was becoming. Stronger, yes, but edged with ice. Lisa noticed. Don't lose yourself in this. Her hug grounded me. Revenge needed heart, or it poisoned the victor. The blade tested at a gala, black tie, chandeliers dripping light like liquid gold. Jake cornered me by the bar, tie askew, eyes bloodshot. You did this. The tip, the clients, it's you. Denial died on my lips. I met his gaze. No, Jake, it's karma. You sowed lies, now reap doubt. Tara hovered, venom in her stare, but he waved her off. I still love you. We can fix. Laughter escaped, sharp. Love? Yours was a lease. Expired. I walked away, head high, his plea echoing hollow. That night, victory tasted bittersweet. Phone buzzed. Confirmation. Letter delivered. His unraveling accelerated. Reports of blowout fights. Tara packing bags. My firm hit 6 figures, team toasting with champagne. But in quiet moments, doubt crept. Was this enough? The blade cut deep, but healing my wounds? That required more than strategy, vulnerability, time. As sections of his life sloughed off like dead skin, mine bloomed. New date. Nerves electric, but real. Laughter genuine, no shadows. Jake's betrayal forged this blade, but I wielded it with grace. The plan peaked soon, climax looming like thunderhead. One final move, and the board would clear. Not for destruction, but rebirth. His end was my beginning. The air thickened with anticipation. Every notification, a potential thunderclap. Jake's silence post-gala was deafening. No texts, no voicemails begging. Instead, ripples spread. A client email praising my work over Jake's outdated approach. Whispers in my network. He's on thin ice at the firm. The reckoning wasn't a storm. It was erosion. Steady, inevitable. I watched from afar, heart a mix of vindication and ache. This man, once my world, now a cautionary tale. My life, meanwhile, orchestrated its own symphony. Office opening, ribbon cut, flashes popping, Lisa toasting, to queens who build empires from heartbreak. Clients mingled, deals whispered in corners. Success wasn't revenge, it was redemption. But nights brought the whispers, his voice in dreams, pleading. I'd wake sweating, questioning. Had I gone too far? The therapist urged balance. Justice serves if it frees you. It did, mostly. Runs lengthened, breath steadied, colors brighter. Tara cracked first. A DM, terse. Your poison, stay away. Attached, audio clip. Her and Jake arguing, my name venom on her tongue. She ruined us! Laughter bubbled. Their fracture was self-inflicted. I archived it, another thread in the tapestry. But empathy flickered. For her, the other betrayed, chasing a mirage. The whispers crescendoed at a conference. Panel on ethics, irony thick. Jake presented, slides polished, but voice wavering. Audience shifted, murmurs rising. Q&A turned brutal. Reports of falsified data? His face ashen, stammering denials. I sat front row, anonymous in crowd, heart pounding. Not my doing. The truth surfaced, as truths do. He spotted me mid-sentence, eyes locking like magnets. Plea? Accusation? Both. I held steady, nodding once. Acknowledgement, not absolution. Post-panel chaos, reporters circling, execs pulling him aside. I slipped out, adrenaline surging, cab ride a blur. Back home, the letter's echo hit. His response waited in mail. Scrawled note, ink smudged like tears. Sarah, you win. I see it now, the monster I was. Forgive? No. But understand, I was scared. Of us. Of real. Scared. The word deflated my fury, balloon pricked. Not excuse, but human. I burned it, ashes swirling like released ghosts. Reckoning shifted then, from external war to internal peace. Dates with Mark, a kind-eyed writer, laughs easy, trust tentative but growing. Jake's downfall trended local. Suspension, Tara gone, apologies public. Vindication washed over, cool as rain after drought. But the real whisper? My voice, soft. Enough. No more dossiers, no blades. The plan complete, not in his ruin, but my wholeness. As whispers faded to silence, I stood taller. Betrayal's echo lingered, but fainter. The climax approached, not explosion, but quiet dawn. Resolution beckoned, lessons etched deep. Jake's story ended in shadows. Mine ignited in light. Pressure built like a dam cracking. Jake's world fracturing under its own weight, my hand steady on the lever. Conference fallout dominated headlines. Marketing whiz faces ethics probe. His face, once confident, now gaunt in photos. I scrolled past, detachment settling like dust. No glee, just closure's quiet hum. My firm? Thriving, expansions planned, team loyal, balance restored, scales tipping my way. The breaking point shattered on a rainy Tuesday. Call from unknown, his sister, voice breaking. Sarah, he's bad, lost job, apartment. Talking crazy. See? Crazy? The word yanked me back. Memories of his vulnerabilities, the boy beneath the betrayer. Why me? I asked, rain pattering like tears. Because you knew him best, before the lies. Heart ward, ignore, or intervene. Revenge's siren sang, let him sink, but humanity whispered, save the pieces. I went. Against every instinct, driving through sheets of water to a dingy motel. He opened the door, hollow-eyed, stubble shadowing defeat. You came. Not question, plea. Room reeked of regret, takeout boxes, empty bottles. We sat, silence thick as fog. Why, Jake? Twice. Words tumbled raw. He crumbled, story spilling. Insecurities from childhood. Fear commitment meant loss. The first affair? Impulse. Second? Habit chasing escape. Tara? Rebound mask. No excuses landed soft. Anger flared anew. You destroyed me. Twice. For fear? He nodded, tears carving paths. I know. Deserve this. Vulnerability disarmed, blade dulled. Not forgiveness, that waited seasons away, but understanding. We talked hours, rain easing to drizzle. His plan? Therapy, restart small. Learn from you, he said. Strength in rising. I left at dawn, lighter, not absolved but unburdened. Breaking point for me? That drive home, sun-piercing clouds. Mark waited with coffee, arms open. You okay? More than reborn. Jake's nadir marked my zenith. Book deal pitched on my story, anonymized. From betrayal to breakthrough. Outlines flew, words cathartic. His point broke publicly too. Press conference, apology scripted. Personal failings led to professional lapses, seeking growth. Tara's shade on social. Dodged a bullet. Echoes of my pain, twisted. I unfollowed all. Digital cleanse. The dam burst, floods receding to reveal fertile ground. Climax not in his fall, but our mutual mirror, reflecting flaws, fostering growth. Tension peaked, now ebbing. Resolution shimmered on horizon. Justice not punitive, but transformative. Justice isn't a gavel's bang. It's sunrise after endless night, slow, warming, undeniable. Jake's suspension turned permanent. New path in consulting, humble. Whispers reached me. He's changed, therapy, volunteering. Not my concern, but nod to possibility. Tara vanished from feeds. Her climb stalled. Their fracture? Collateral to his choices. My dawn blazed. Book deal inked. Shattered vows, reclaiming after betrayal, hitting shelves to acclaim. Signings packed. Women sharing stories. Tears and hugs weaving sisterhood. You gave me words for my silence, one said. Impact rippled, beyond revenge. Empowerment's echo. With Mark, love bloomed gentle. Walks, no rush, trust earned daily. Wedding? Someday, small, real. Lisa's maid of honor toast in mind. From ashes, Phoenix. Jake crossed paths once. Coffee line, awkward nod. Proud of you, he murmured. Likewise, I replied, meaning it. No hate's weight, freedom's lift. Justice dawned full. Not his ruin, my rise. Betrayal's scar? Faint line, story's badge. Echoes linger longest. Betrayal's whisper in quiet moments. Revenge's shadow in triumphs. Postbook, invites flooded. Podcasts, keynotes. I'd share, voice steady. Pain forges if you let it. Audiences leaned in, mirrors to my journey. One Q&A, tearful. How forgive? Not for them. For you. Release the anchor. Mark proposed under stars. Ring simple. Eyes true. Forever, no shadows. Yes spilled easy. Heart full. Wedding whispers. Beach, vows handwritten. Jake's invite? Declined polite. Boundaries sacred. Echoes tested in storms. Business dip. Doubts creeping. Mark's hand grounded. We rise together. Echo of Jake's lesson. Love as partnership, not possession. Firm hit milestone. 10 employees. Charity arm for abuse survivors. Giving back. Echoes turned chorus of change. One echo unresolved. Dad's ghost. Letter sent. Old wounds aired. Reply came. Apology. Late, but honest. Forgiveness. Budding. Heart's echoes harmonized now. Past pains prelude to present peace. Horizon calls, vast and promising. Looking back, Jake's betrayal was catalyst. Twice wounded, once wise. Revenge? Not sweet, but necessary surgery. Excising toxicity. Lesson etched. Trust earned, not given blind. Boundaries as shields, not walls. Success from within, not spite. To you, listener, if betrayed, don't dim. Rise, expose truths gently, build unbreakably. Justice? Self-made, in mirrors of growth. My story? Open book, pages turning. Horizon gleams. Love, legacy light. Betrayal broke me. I rebuilt unbreakable. What's your echo? Share below. Until next tale.